vigilantly the sets of laws and rules we're under. I just worry in the broader societal context about how much this is being undercut by what's happening in
like voluntarily giving away the information.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Voluntary
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I mean, whatever you think of the National Security Agency, folks like me don't stay there because we don't like the Constitution and don't care about laws. We really do. And if you want to hear heated debates about such topics, get inside our borders sometime. But the challenge is the short-term incentive that people have, just to get a sale price or whatever. When you give information away, you sort of give it away forever, right? And the long-term implications are the really frightening part of this, which is you can't pull it back. And I've got 3 kids. I want them to grow up in a world where they feel safe and that their information, they have some sense of control over it. And in a lot of ways, we are giving away control of information at massive scale. So I'm not sure where these are questions for big thinkers about the sociology of the future to talk about. But clearly there's things that we need to do on the technical part of this, right? So that what happens to information, right? That machines, that there's a certain level of due care about the handling of information. That clearly doesn't exist today, right? And so anyone who's, the previous question about hacktivism and political interests, people that have no business having access to information today can do that and cause long-term implications for you as an individual. And we, at least on the technical side, we've got to find ways to manage that much better. That it's just not so trivial to give that away and lose control of it forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think these will be the 2 last questions here.
Hi, my question might actually be for the Department of Education, but I thought I'd ask these guys too.
There's an educator.
Basically, back in the day, there used to be things like home ec and driver's ed and things like that you had to do in high school. Is there any push to get things like not cybersecurity, information security or information assurance into the curriculum in schools so that we actually educate the population?
Well, certainly in the STEM education programs, there are a number of efforts. And if you've seen that, you've got DEF CON Kids here aimed at 8 to 16-year-olds. So I think there are, but I'm not sure it's anything more than hit and miss, and somebody particularly is interested in doing this. I mean, NSA has the nation has a very robust training project for cybersecurity. I don't know if that really gets to your question about how do I raise a responsible digital citizen through our normal education processes.
Well, there's NSA Centers of...
Yeah, I'll mention that. And we co-sponsor with DHS a program called the Centers of Academic Excellence in Information Assurance. And I don't know the numbers, but there's 100+ schools that are involved with that. There's, we review curriculum, and they qualify or not under that program. And that started, I think, over 10 years ago. The concern there was both the general education, but also increasing the pool of people that can work in this business. There's a lot of recognition nationally now that the pool of practitioners is just not big enough, right, for the DoD, for private industry, for everybody. And so we both need practitioners, but also general understanding. So there's a number of activities that we're involved with in other parts of government to look at this. There's a number of private sector organizations that have popped up, and the common wisdom is the pool is several multiples smaller than it needs to be. If we can't increase that pool, then we stay at what I would call the cannibalization stage, right, where we're filling our needs by hiring them from the other guy, not by bringing new people into the pool. So we really have to get over that nationally, find a way to increase the number of folks, and we've invested pretty heavily from NSA with other partners across government. But that's been a big success for us. In fact, it turns out, again, I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe most of our hiring of people directly out of school, as opposed to transfers from the military or whatever, most of our hiring is now from those centers that whose curriculum we've worked with them on.
Yeah, I actually attended one, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, very good, thanks.
I think you can see. I'm sorry. I think you can also see the DHS trying to struggle with messaging with their Stop, Think, Connect program. So it's, it's entering the consciousness of education and awareness training. But I'm not sure that there's the Cyber Collegiate Defensive, the CCDC cyber challenge for universities to compete as an incentive to give these guys an outlet, a legitimate outlet to compete in attacking. So I think the education system is fractured and they're trying a bunch of stuff. We're sort of in that laboratory phase, I would say.
Okay. My wife and I were watching I think it was the Discovery Channel. We watched, they was talking about this poor community, some part of the world, and they had figured out a novel way to do fishing. They would use kites, and then they would send the kite out and they would drop the bait from the kites and then they would catch the fish. And to me, that sort of is the essence of hacking. Using something that, using something in a way that it wasn't intended to be used. And in this case, they were using it to improve their lives. Is there anything that you guys, from your experience or from your insight, can see, is there any technologies that you guys can see that can be used, simple technologies that can be sort of quote unquote hacked to improve our lives? We talk a lot about information security and people trying to break into things, but what about breaking things to make things?
That would be like maybe like, I don't know, taking a product that does one thing and make it do another, and that other thing happens to be really useful. Yeah.
I mean, there's great stories about people hacking bicycles in Africa to turn them into knife grinding, scissor sharpening, and generators. You pedal and charge people's phones and things like that. So I think the whole issue of hacking equipment is really interesting. To me, in this case, one of the explosively innovation areas that we're going to see is three-dimensional printing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think, I certainly until the last couple of weeks hadn't begun to realize the potential implication this has, not only in what you can make for what you intended it to, but in this idea of hacking it for unintended uses.
Yeah, the three-dimensional printing stuff's amazing.
It really is.
Yes, we hear you. All right, so with that, I'd like to get a round of applause for the audience, from the audience. And are you guys going to be in the Q&A room for a little bit to see if there's any interest? So there's a Q&A room, of course, following each session. Our speakers will be there for a little bit in case there's any questions. You can follow us.
You can't
wait.
come. You have press at 3 o'clock.
I've got to go do something. But you can follow the speakers and ask more one-on-one type questions with them if you'd like. And then
Actually, it's down the hall, almost all the way, second to last room on the right.
down the hall, second to last room on the right, or you can just follow the speakers. So again, thank you very much, and I'll see you around at the con. Have a good adventure here this weekend.
Before you go, the blood drive tanks were full in 1 hour.
Oh.
We overwhelmed them. They have no idea. And there's a 12-page list of people who are coming back to get blood and marrow. So you guys rock.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.